Hashem says, I look in astonishment and ask, where is their God? The one that they trusted. God will ask, where are the idols whom you hoped would be a shield to you? Who ate the fat of the sacrifices you gave them? To whom you have offered the best of your sacrifices? Let them rise and help you. All of the above verses, Rabotai, affirm that before the Mashiach comes, the Jews will make a huge mistake after various forms of idol worship, and from time to time will transfer their hopes from one to another. Meaning that before Mashiach comes, we are going to be, Shem Yishmo V'Yatzil, as a nation, idolizing many different things. Now you're thinking, wow, Christianity is going to win? No. Christianity is just one of the tools of the Satan. Buddhism is just one of the tools of the Satan. And that's what Rav Wasserman starts to elaborate on now. He says, what is the nature of idol worship to which they have given allegiance to? Meaning this last generation. There's no way they're all going to become Christian. There's no way they're all going to become Buddhist. There's no way they're all going to start praying to statues from Chinatown. What is this idol worship? He says, first we must understand the meaning of the conception of idol worship. What is idol worship? Gemara, Masechet Sanhedrin, page 61b, gives a clear definition. Idol worship is any matter which appears to man as a controlling factor, independent of God's will, and able to do good or evil, is idolatry. Translation to English that's clearer. Anything in this world that you think has power that's independent from God is a form of idolatry. Examples: money. You think that money gives you power, idol worship. All types of physical pleasures, amivin yavin. You think that's what makes you happy. That's what runs the world, idol worship. Stock market runs the world, people say, idol worship. Spend all of their time on their cars, cleaning, driving, fixing, all of their hours of the day. I used to have a few people that lived in my block when I was a kid. All day on their cars. They would clean their cars like 90 times a day. All day, there's another tool, and there's another part of the engine, there's another different rim, and another button to the stereo. All day on the cars. All their life is about cars, with the exhaust pipe, and the windshield, and this and that. Idol worship. You spend your whole life on this thing? Idol worship. We're going to learn today that there's a lot of forms of idolatry, which gives us the understanding of what is the Gemara saying in the beginning of Masechet Avodah Zarah, when it says that Avraham Avinu, unlike us, the tractate of Avodah Zarah that we have in the Gemara today, in the Babylonian Talmud, have 5 sections, 5 chapters. But it says Avraham Avinu's Gemara had 400 chapters. Some say as many as 600. Meaning, his Gemara, tractate Avodah Zarah, the tractate that talks about idolatry, was bigger than our entire Talmud. All of the tractates. How much idolatry existed at the time of Avraham Avinu that he needs so much. That's because until now, we thought that idolatry was some statue or yoshke. Wrong. Idolatry is also bad character traits. Idolatry is also an obsession with something material. Idolatry is simply something that you are giving power to, independent of God. You went to your job and you saw that the boss says, oh, listen, we're going to give somebody a promotion. And what do? You start kissing up to the boss, even though he's a wicked, sneaky criminal. Start kissing up to him. Why? Because you think he's in charge of you getting a promotion. You think he's in charge of you getting more money. Guess what? You just performed idolatry. Kissing up to people is idolatry. Khanfan, idolatry. Why? You thought that he's in control of your parnasah. Now, you want to get promotion, you can perform better your job. That's not a problem. But to kiss up to people because you think they're in control of your money, idolatry. So Avraham Avinu knew all of these different types of idolatry. And Rav Wasserman continues and he says, let us review all of the idols which were worshipped in the last 100 years. The enlightenment of Berlin, or better yet, the stupidity of Berlin, promised great salvation. The Enlightenment, Moshe Mendelssohn and his buddies who said, keep your Judaism at home and be a regular person outside. He himself was keeping Torah mitzvot, but his children and his grandchildren all became Christians and atheists and heretics. He himself kept Shabbat, but his mentality was so wrong that the entire reform and conservative movements were his child, his brainchild, and until today we're suffering from them. The Enlightenment caused a lot of problems for Am Yisrael and still does to this day. As soon as the breeze of liberalism began to blow, the Jews hastened to stand in the foremost ranks of its exponents. But after liberalism, even though liberalism just got reborn in recent generation, after liberalism made its exit, they turned to democracy, which is still alive and well today, unfortunately. And also socialism and communism and all the other isms which have come down upon our generation in such great profusion. To these idols they made sacrifices of blood and money and were betrayed by all of them. Meaning that although people said, no, liberalism, that's the way, socialism, that's the way, communism, that's the way, democracy, that's the way, eventually, Kadosh Baruch Hu shows you, not only is it not the way, but you're going to get hurt by this. Your very same people that you thought were your friends and your leaders and your idols, they're the ones that are going to be the first ones to kill you. Now, how could such a thing be explained? It says not even one of these isms, not even one of these idol worships justified the faith that had been pinned on it. Not only that, but all of these isms died a sudden death and vanished abruptly. We see that the communisms and the Lenins of the world or the Karl Marxes of the world, even though they still to some extent exist and are admired by people that call themselves intellectuals, they're practically non-existent in comparison to when they were really out there. All of these things got an abrupt end. One day it just became popular to become a Nazi. National Socialist. Today, you say Nazi in most places around the world, comprised of civilized people. What, are you crazy? Get out of here. What are you, a Jew? No, but we don't like Nazis anyway, even if I'm not a Jew. What's the matter with you? If you say some Nazi statement on some news, you get fired. No one's going to hire you. Many celebrities ruin their lives and their careers because of their racial remarks. Same thing with racism. 60, 70 years ago, you had two different buses. One for black people, one for white people. They treated them like they were slaves still. Today, if you even say the word black, they start qualifying you. Wait, are you even allowed to say black? Do you know any black people? You have a black friend? Why, are you racist? Are you that? Huh? Oh. Like you have to qualify, because who gave you the right to say and talk and that? It's all political correctness nightmare. But the point being is that what was once acceptable became completely an abomination. People thought, by being racist, that's, we are the pure breed, they call themselves. Today, you say that to people, say, okay, you be pure breed by yourself in the farm, in, in the middle of Tennessee somewhere. Maybe you still think that the Ku Klux Klan is cool, but the rest of us civilized people don't think like that. We don't think like that. You go in your little costume, the little apron you have in your head, go over there in the woods with your friends. The rest of us are going to go back to civilization. Why? It's nonsense. But back then, popular. If you weren't in it, there's something wrong with you. So you see that all of these strange ideologies were once popular, but became something that was revolted by people themselves. Now, how can this phenomenon be explained? The Prophet Yechezkel, chapter 29, verse 6, says that Egypt will be punished. It says in a verse, because they have been a staff of reed to the house of Israel. Which means that because Israel put their trust in the Egyptians, that's why the Egyptians are going to get punished. So the question is, what's actually happening here? First, we're saying that Am Yisrael had trust in the Egyptians. We have to explain that. We have to qualify that statement. What do you mean? Weren't they slaves? What do you mean they trusted the Egyptians? Second, we're saying that the Egyptians are going to get punished not because of the slavery and the murder they committed, but rather they're going to be punished because Am Yisrael trusted them. So if you look at the Midrashim, on the Pasuk, Ava Nitchak Malach, when Paro says to the Egyptians that Am Yisrael, Bnei Yisrael at the time, grew rapidly, 6 births in each labor. Each mom had a birth of 6 babies. Try that today, you'll be on the news. But, which actually, by the way, happened recently. A woman, I think in France, gave birth to 6 Jewish babies, Baruch Hashem. Not common, but I'm sure that the community will give her the diapers. I just hope they give her babysitters too, because that means you can't sleep for like 6 years. Anyway, it's cool on the news though. Anyway, how did Paro, who saw that the Am Yisrael was growing rapidly, became more numerous than them, meaning there was more Bnei Yisrael than there were Egyptians. How did he turn them from being rich, successful socialites, they had a whole city to themselves, bunch of money, how did he turn them into slaves? He says, Ava Nitchak Malach, let's fool them. So the Midrash Me'am Loez and many other Midrashim concur, says this is what happened, Rabotai. Paro says, we can't just turn these people to slaves. They're going to join our enemies and kill us. So what we got to do? We got to entice them with something else. What do they like? They like money. So let's tell them, they want to be part of us. They want to be patriots. You know, patriots. You want to be, I'm a proud American. You know, you want to be one of those people, right? You have an American flag on your lawn, even though you're Jew. Yeah, okay. Let's make them, I'm an Egyptian, right? I'm Mustafa. Okay, yalla. Guys, let's go. Let's build a country. It's time to build. It's time to build a country. No, come on, Paro, we like the country, we like the tax rates here are pretty cool and everything's good, but I got a business, I just started another one, I got some real estate, but you want to be a patriot? Okay, so I'll give some contributions. So Paro says, no, we got to do something better. What do I do? I'm going to work myself. I'm going to go in the fields, I'm going to tell them, I love this country, I'm such a patriot, Paro, I'm going to start working. And Paro started working. And Bnei Israel admired their leader, wow! Look at Paro Trump. Look at that. Wow, this guy's amazing. Trump Paro. Wow, this guy's like the Mashiach. Wow, he's working all the time. He's on the press all the time. He has a show. He has a this. He has a that. Wow. Ooh, ee. Now, come on, guys. You're going to stay working? Now we got to help him out. Now, come on. We got to help him out. Yalla, I'm shutting down the shop. Let's go, Paro. We're doing this. We're doing this. We're going to build this country up. We're going to build. We're going to build. So what's going to happen with the business? The business, Paro is going to take care of us. Paro promised us some money. So in the beginning, he gives them a little bit of money, and he gives them some tax rates, and he gives them some benefits, and he gives them this, and he gives them that. And little by little, their business goes down the tubes, and they're now depending on Paro. But Paro says, I'm allowed to renege on my trade. Why? Because I'm Paro. And that was the whole plan. And he says, listen, remember I offered you $5,000 a week because that's what you're making? Yeah, so many people joined this patriotic rebuilding of Egypt. I can't do it. So I got to offer you, instead of $5,000, $2,500. But don't worry, I'll take care of you with the tax and the this and the benefits and all that stuff. I'm going to take care of you. Paro, I love you so much. I see you working in the fields. I'm in. I'm in. Yalla. Salary cut by 50%. Month passes. Listen, you know that $2,500, that check's not going to clear. That check's not going to clear. Don't even put it in the bank. It's not going to clear. It's just paper. Listen, I love you. That's why I'm coming to you personally. Here, I'm going to give you $1,000 cash. No taxes. Just $1,000 I'm going to give you. It's between you. Everybody else is not even getting. You're going to get $1,000. Paro, I trust you. You're going to give me when everything turns around. Yeah, for sure. Okay, salary just dropped. Another 60%. And little by little, he makes $500 a month. Little by little, he goes down to 100. Little by little, he becomes so poor and so broke that he has to depend on Paro just to give him food. And Paro says, now you're my slave because your business is gone. You have no other hope. And now you're my slave. And that's how slavery started. That's how we became slaves. Why? We wanted to become patriotic. We wanted to have a session with a bunch of religious Jews and say the blessing of the Melech on the president of some country. Even though Torah says otherwise. Why? We wanted to be patriotic. We forgot that we were really only guests, regardless of where we are, including in Israel. You are a guest in this world. No matter where you are, including in Israel or America or England or Australia, even if they're nice to you, even if all that stuff, when Hashem decides otherwise, they'll kick you out. Why? We're not loyal to Hashem. We're loyal to people. Hashem says, those people, you want to become one of them instead of my chosen people. And that's what Chachamim say. When a Jew does not make himself kadosh, and he doesn't do kiddush, then a Kadosh Baruch Hu has to do Avdalah. Then a Kadosh Baruch Hu has to make a separation. Avdalah also means the Avdalah of Motzei Shabbat, but it also means separation. When we don't sanctify ourselves, then a Kadosh Baruch Hu has to separate us from the Goyim to remind us that we are not them. Now, some people say, wait, so Jews are racist? Torah is racist? No. But everyone knows, if you read the Torah, Hashem says, you are the chosen people, and you're not allowed to intermarry with them. All of these isms, whether it be Zionism, or it be communism, or it be socialism, or other isms, make us think that we could become one with people that are not Torah-minded, Torah-life people. We can become one with the Goyim. Hashem says, no. Not allowed. So, the first part of the question is, how do we become slaves? We became slaves because we idolized the Egyptians. We had all of our trust in them. We had all of our trust in them, Rabotai Yekarim. Now the second question is, why were the Egyptians punished for this? Because it says that the Egyptians will be punished because we relied on them. So Rav Wasserman says that there's a big question. What sin did the Egyptians make? Because the prophet says they're not getting punished for the slavery part. Well, Hashem told them to make them slaves. Hashem already told Abraham Avinu, your descendants will be slaves. So what punishment, he says, what's the punishment for? That Am Yisrael relied on them. So Rav Wasserman gives one of the scariest chidushim I've ever heard in my life. He says the following. We have one principle in the Torah that's connected to idolatry. What do you do with idolatry? You have to destroy it. Meaning that all idolatry has one end. It has to vanish. And as it says in Parashat Bo in Exodus, and in all the gods of Egypt I will do judgment. And also it says, and all idols shall utterly vanish. Meaning that once Bnei Israel had hope in the Egyptians, Egypt became an idol. And that is enough of a reason for Hashem to destroy them. So that means, Rabotai, that anything that we turn into Avodah zarah, either we have to destroy it, or Hashem Himself will destroy it. But it must be destroyed at some point or another. Even if it's a rabbi that you've idolized, even if it's a big admo that did good things and doesn't want to be idolized, but can't help it that he has a bunch of stupid students that have idolized him and turned him into a god. That has to be destroyed. In fact, there are some people in the world that love being complimented. They love getting admired. Wow, look, everybody's relying on this guy. He's the gvil of the community. Wow, this guy's so generous. Wow, this guy's so good. Wow, yeah, you're doing great things. Chazaku baruch. It's good to give praise, but you go overboard. You start saying, oh, we all rely on you. This is what we're relying on. Guess what? You are giving Hashem a reason to destroy him. You're giving Hashem a reason to destroy this guy. Why? You're idolizing him. You're in essence saying that he has power independent of God. He's not a shaliach. He's not a simple vessel that Hashem uses to do His will. So, when we turn things into idols, Rabotai, Hashem says, I must destroy it if you don't. Now, when you really think about it, you think about society at large and how many things we idolize, and then we see how Hashem destroys each one of those things. A person idolizes money, Hashem gives him measure for measure punishment. What? He takes away all of his money. The guy worked his whole life, make a bunch of money, Hashem takes all of his money away. Or He takes him away from the money so he can't even enjoy it. One or the other happens, constantly. Constantly. You see the guys, they have a new TV show. Yeah, I just bought a house, $5 million, got a new car. Yeah, he's hanging out. 5 years later, he's on the unemployment line, collecting $200 like the rest of the people. What happened? What happened to the show? Yeah, it didn't work out so much. Yeah, but you made $100 million in your career. Yeah, well, that didn't work out so much. You know what worked out? Hashem's plan. It destroyed you. Why? You idolize money. And the same thing happens with relationships. Same thing happens with everything in the world. Hashem has a vendetta against idol worship. All of it at some point will be destroyed. So, when we look at certain things, we have to be careful, because literally, if we're idolizing something, that's enough of a reason for Hashem to take it away. From the world, not just from you.